There's just a big difference between wanting to, having to, and then you must do it. This is what it's going to take to go on to that next level that you're seeking. And welcome to the Roughnecks podcast. This is Reno's Rant, episode number 3. We are slowly rolling along now with Reno's Rants. Remember, I'm just talking a lot of common sense nonsense where I bring common sense things, but I know in reality, most of it is just a bunch of nonsense. So bear with me with these. So today's rant, actually, Brittany and I were talking this morning, and just a few minutes ago, and we were just kind of discussing our clients, discussing our workouts, discussing, things she, while she was doing cardio, she was listening to David Goggins. We started talking about David Goggins. If you guys don't know who David Goggins is, please YouTube him and just listen to that man talk. If he doesn't make you want to go run through a wall or just start breaking things, he's unbelievable with the things he does. Also, I listened to his book. Highly suggest another book for you guys to that I would highly recommend. Listen to David Goggins' books. Both of them, either one, are fantastic. But anyway, so while Britt and I were talking, it just we just started going on a roll. And I'm like, hang on, let me go grab my mic. I need to go record this right now because we were just talking about some really, really good stuff. And kind of what started this is somebody to me said that they don't have time, or they didn't have time to go work out this week. Let me tell you something. You telling Brittany that you don't have time to do that, we are the worst people you could possibly say that to. Working full time, we have 3 kids. We're running a personal training company. We're trying to stay on top of our fitness. Brittany is competing in a bodybuilding show here in about a month. You can't tell us that time is an excuse. You have to make the time for that. Because straight up, time is never going to be on your side. Okay, let me say that again. Time is never going to be on your side. There's no time to waste. You can't say, "Oh well, I'll just do it next week." I'm just going to do it tomorrow. Like, you don't have time for that. You have to make the time for it. And if you're not making the time for it, it's not a priority to you. It's like, truly sit back and think, what are my priorities? And do I really want to do this now? And if you do, you have to make the time. And you keep telling yourself, man, I really got to get on this. I really got to change this. I really got to, go do that. But you're not allowing yourself to make the time for it. It can't be an excuse. Like, it really can't. Or another thing is like, oh, well, I just need a mental or physical break. Do you? Have you pushed yourself that far that you really need that break? Like, do you really need a break where you can just say, you know what, not today. I need a day off. Your days off need to be earned. You have to earn your days off. I know this is me saying like, oh, he's just talking the whole thing. It's like, if you really want to make something happen, you have to earn that day off. Time, again, is not on your side. All right. But there's definitely a need for a break, and there's definitely a need for resting. There's definitely a need to, let your mind relax a little bit. Okay. I'm not saying burn yourself out. I'm just saying, make sure you're pushing yourself hard. Okay. Push yourself to that limit where you get that break. Okay. Where you can have that break, where you need that break. Not necessarily because you want the break, because you need that break. And it's sometimes those days where it's like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I'm not up for it today. Those are the ones where you got to push through. You have to push through if you truly want something to happen like that. So, and with that, kind of going back to the David Goggins things that Britt and I were talking about, there's those 2 voices in your head, right? That angel, that devil, or as David Goggins like to say, that bitch voice in your head, or that mommy voice that you had. It's like, oh, honey, it's okay. Like, you can just take the day off. Go easy on yourself. I know it says do 15 reps, but if you just do 10 reps, that's good. Like it's fine. Woe is you, woe is me. Like it's okay. You earned it. Okay, everything's all right. So that's your mommy voice. That's your bitch voice. That's your mommy in the background telling you that things are okay. Sometimes you gotta throw away the bitch, okay? And you gotta find your alter ego. Your alter ego, that's the one where you're looking in the mirror and you say, don't be a bitch. Okay, you've got to do this. You've got to get out there. Let's go. It is time to turn it on. You don't have to do this. You must do this. Okay, you must go out and do it. There's just a big difference between wanting to, having to, and then you must do it. This is what it's going to take to go on to that next level that you're seeking so bad. And it is, look, I am not perfect at this. That is not what I'm trying to say here. It is hard. This is extremely, extremely hard. And it should be hard because that's the separator. If you want to separate yourself from other people, making things hard, like what is the thing that you are doing that others won't? Okay, take that step above everybody else. Be uncommon amongst common people. Okay, uncommon amongst common people. And then once you're finding yourself in that momentum, in that ability to gain more confidence, to start seeing results, to start seeing things slowly work together, now you're becoming that, and you're becoming above the uncommon people. Now it's your job. From there, don't get settled. Okay, going back to that bitch voice, it's okay. Hey, you've done it for this long. It's time you can let off the gas a little bit. It's like, no, that is the time where you do full acceleration on the gas. Okay, there's a window. Okay, and separation, I should say. There's a separation between you and the person behind you. Okay, or even the person in front of you. There's a separation there. Are you going to either close the gap on the person in front of you, or are you going to make that gap bigger from the people that are behind you? Okay, that separation gap is the difference, and that gap you can either make it bigger or smaller by telling yourself, "Nah, today's not the day. I just don't feel like it today," or by saying, "I'm going to push through it today. I'm going to make the time to do it today." That's how you make that gap grow, and that's how you make that gap smaller. And if you're looking at the person ahead of you, find the gap. Okay, see where they're taking a day off and jump on the opportunity to keep going. And it might not even be a person in front of you. It might be you in front of you. Okay, where do you want to be? And see and look back on the things that you've been doing. What I did yesterday, did that shorten the gap, or did that widen that separation? Do you think about, did I dedicate the time to it? Did I let my bitch voice come out, my mommy voice come out? Or did I bring my alter ego and look myself in the mirror and say, it's time to change my mindset. It's time to go forward with this. It is time to really make a difference. Time to stop saying or time to start saying enough is enough. Like we've got to go. I've got to do this. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. Matter you versus you. Okay. There's all these personal trainers. There's all these, coaches. There's all these different types of people who are there to, build you, or people expect them to just build you your map, I guess. No, their job is to just give you a direction. Here's kind of the directions that you can go. You can go down this direction and it's going to work. Or you can take that and that is your direction, but you get to build your own map. You get to learn from that direction. You might be going down one direction and it could completely flip. You're going to find out so much about yourself. You're going to find out a lot about what you like and what you don't like. You're not going to know until you do it. That's another thing Brittany and I were literally just talking about. It's like that learning process that you go through. You got to let yourself fail. You have to let yourself go down an uncomfortable road. And sometimes it's blind. You're going down that road blind and you're not really sure what's going to happen along the way. You might have to take a hard right. You might have to take a hard left. You might have to turn around and go back and find a different way. That's what it's about. Like, you have to be your own test dummy at some point and let yourself learn and let your body adjust and let your mind adjust is really, really the bulk of it. And like I said, you're going to learn a lot of new things. A lot of new things that you like, a lot of new things that you dislike, and that's how you build your map. That's how you build yourself. That's how you can start making a difference. That's how you can start dedicating more time. And because if you know kind of the roadmap that you're going, now you're saving time. Now you know exactly where to go. So you're not wasting time, like I said at the beginning. You see and you hear about these things, but it's a different experience when you actually go through it. Someone, I want to start getting in shape again. Okay, I see these people doing these things, like, that looks fun, whether that be, I don't know, powerlifting, or that's bodybuilding, or that's some athletic training. That looks fun. I think that's what I want to do. Yeah, I see them doing that. It looks good. But you don't really know until you actually get in and do it. So if you're unsure, if you're unsure about it, go for it and just see what happens. You're not going to know until you actually do it. It's not about, not being ready. It's almost like you're just blindly trusting a process. But again, you're not going to know until you actually do it. I hope that makes sense. I know that was kind of a rant, a random rant, bunch of different thoughts all in one. But again, make time. Time is not an excuse. That has to be a driving factor. You've got to make the time. If you're truly passionate about it, you're going to make the time. You have to make the time, or else that passion will never, ever become a reality. And also push through, close the gap, or make the gap bigger. Okay, close the gap on the person in front of you or yourself that's in front of you, and make the gap bigger from the person behind you. Do not let them catch up. And then at the end of the day, you got to build your own map. Okay, follow a direction and let those directions lead you in many different places. You have no idea where it could lead you. So with that, episode number 3 of Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks podcast is over. But I do have some announcements. So make sure we are still sending over the Q&A Friday questions. Thank you all for who are sending those over. Helps us out tremendously. Cole and a guest will jump on and answer those questions. So still make sure to send those over. We will list a bunch of different places that you can send those over to below here. Also, be on the lookout for the 3rd annual March Madness Challenge. Yes, 3rd annual, huge success past couple years. It will be starting March 16th. There will be more on this coming, so be on the lookout for that. And don't forget to sign up for the Roughnecks podcast newsletter. This is where we're going to keep you guys up to date on everything that is coming up. A lot of cool things, really, really exciting things that we are changing to the podcast, that Cole is changing to the podcast. It is released on the 1st of every single month, and you can sign up for it. Just go to the website. It's roughneckspodcast.com. Pretty simple. Roughnecks Podcast here on Apple Podcasts, here on Spotify, then just roughneckspodcast.com, where you can sign up for that newsletter and also grab some merch. Have you seen this logo? Like I said, it is sick. Okay, go get some stickers. Go get some t-shirts. Go get whatever you want. It's all there for you. And that is it. Thank you all so much. Reno's Rant, episode number 3. We'll be back next week for number 4. I'm out. Roughnecks Podcast. See you.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks